Hey Steno peeps, Jen back with a brand new dictation. Today I'll be doing a Q&A between a witness and an attorney about an arson. I'll be speaking in a low voice for the attorney, high voice for the witness at no particular speed, so set your speed controller and let's dive in. Good morning, Mr. Johnson. Can you please state your full name for the record? Good morning. My name is Edward Johnson. Thank you. Now, Mr. Johnson, do you recall the night of July 14th, 2023? Yes, I do. Where were you at that evening? I was at home, which is about 2 blocks away from the warehouse that caught fire. What time did you first notice something unusual that night? It was around 10:30 p.m. I saw a bright light through my window, and when I looked outside, I saw flames coming from the warehouse. What did you do after seeing the flames? I called 911 immediately to report the fire. Did you observe anyone near the warehouse before or during the fire? Yes, just before I saw the flames, I noticed a man near the entrance. He was wearing a dark hoodie and carrying what looked like a gas can. Can you describe this man in more detail? He seemed to be in his late 30s, medium build, around 5'10". I couldn't see his face clearly. He had his hood up, but I remember he moved quickly, like he was in a hurry. After the fire started, did you see this man again? Yes, a few minutes after the flames erupted, I saw him running away from the warehouse toward the alley. Did you happen to notice what direction he went after entering the alley? He disappeared into the darkness. I couldn't tell where he went from there. Did you share this information with the police when they arrived? Yes, I told the police everything I saw. Mr. Johnson, did you hear any noises or detect any smells before the fire started? Yes, a few minutes before I noticed the flames. I smelled gasoline, which was strange since there's no gas station nearby. Were you familiar with the warehouse? Had you ever seen anyone around it before? I knew it was an old storage facility. I hadn't seen much activity there recently, but sometimes I'd see people wandering near it late at night. Mr. Johnson, you said you were 2 blocks away from the warehouse that night, correct? Yes, that's right. And it was around 10:30 p.m. How well could you see in the dark from that distance? There was an area lit by streetlights, and the fire created even more light, so I could see pretty well. You mentioned seeing a man with a gas can from 2 blocks away. Are you sure you could accurately identify what he was carrying? It was hard to see exactly, but it looked like a gas can from the way he was holding it and the shape of it. But you can't say for certain that it was a gas can, correct? Correct. I can't be 100% sure. And you couldn't identify this man's face either, is that right? No, his hood was up, so I couldn't see his face clearly. Mr. Johnson, after calling 911, did you stay at the scene of the fire? Yes, I stayed by my window and watched until the fire department arrived. The flames were getting bigger, and I wanted to make sure they responded quickly. Did you observe any other activity around the warehouse during this time? Perhaps any vehicles or other individuals? Actually, yes. About 5 minutes after the man ran away, I saw a dark-colored car parked at the corner of Maple Street near the alley. I didn't see anyone get in or out, but it seemed suspicious because it was idling there for a few minutes before driving off. Could you see the license plate or make of the car? No, I couldn't. It was too far, and the street light in the area was out, so it was hard to make out any details. When the fire department arrived, did you speak to any of the firefighters or police officers on the scene? Yes, after I spoke to the dispatcher on 911, I went outside to talk to the officers who arrived shortly after the fire trucks. I wanted to give them the information about the man I saw in the car. Did you notice how the fire was behaving at this point? Was it still growing? Oh yes, it spread quickly. By the time the fire department started spraying water, the flames had already engulfed most of the building. I could even hear small explosions, probably from something inside the warehouse. Did anyone else from your neighborhood come out to watch or speak to the authorities? Yes, several of my neighbors came out. There was a crowd forming on the street, but I'm not sure if anyone else saw the man I did. Mr. Johnson, did you later learn what the cause of the fire was? Yes, a few days later, I heard from the news that it was being investigated as an arson, which made sense considering what I saw. And knowing what you saw that night, do you feel confident that the fire was deliberately set? Based on the man with the gas can and the smell of the gasoline, yes, I believe someone initially started the fire. Okay, that's a wrap on today's dictation. If you have any topics you would like me to cover in terms of Q&A, jury charge, literary, please drop them in the comments below. I'm always taking requests and would love to dictate something that you're personally looking to practice. But be sure to keep practicing these Q&As and I'll catch you on the next dictation.